The Joe Rogan Experience.
There's quite a few women's MMA fighters now, but it's still small in comparison to men.
Mm-hmm.
When you meet young girls that look up to you, do you recognize that you have there's a very critical, and it's a very small role. There's and small in terms of a small amount of people providing that role as role models to young kids that are thinking about fighting. When a young girl meets you, like, oh my God, it's the karate hottie. Like, is it weird to you? Like, what is that feeling like to you when you meet a young girl and you say, oh my God, this is me when I was 16?
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is to know that just through my story that I've touched people's lives, you know. I get approached a lot by parents, you know, that are happy that I'm pursuing what I'm pursuing, even being a mom, you know. So I think that's really cool, just because I feel like when I was pregnant,
how old's your daughter now?
She's 8. Yeah. So when I
thought she was much younger for some reason.
I know, she's a shrimp. That's why.
Maybe we saw the pictures when she was younger too.
Yeah, she's itty bitty. I this might be too much information, but after I had my daughter, she's been to every single one of my fights. I had my first fight back when I was 10 months old, and I was still breastfeeding. I breastfed her.
When she was 10 months old, not when you were 10 months old.
Sorry, when she was 10 months.
Wow, you had a fight while you were breastfeeding?
Yeah.
That was your first fight?
My first fight back.
Oh, okay. How many fights did you have before your daughter?
I had a good amount, I'd say. I don't even know.
Because you've been fighting for 10 years professionally?
12 years.
12 years?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a good amount. I was 25 when I was pregnant. But yeah, I just remember being pregnant and everybody talks about like postpartum depression, but I was really depressed during my pregnancy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I loved being pregnant, and there was a lot of memories that I had with her being in my belly and me feeling her and all of this, and that those moments I treasure forever. But I was depressed. Like, I couldn't do what I wanted to do. It's not like I could go out and, you know, if I was feeling bad, I couldn't just throw the gloves on and go out and spar and hit somebody in the face, you know. Like,
you know, normal things.
That's what you do to relieve stress. And I watched everybody get better.
Oh.
And I watched everybody progress and fight, and it, you know, it ate me alive. And there was just so much uncertainty and so much unknown. Was my body going to be the same? You know, was I going to even want it? Was I going to have time to do it? There was just so much that I didn't know. And so I was really down then. And I get a lot of moms that approach me, and they tell me that because I went back and continued to pursue my dream, that they did too, you know. And I think that that's cool.
That is cool. Now, when you say you had your first fight back 10 months, that's a really, for people that don't recognize, that's a very short amount of time to rebound from giving birth, and then get yourself back in shape, and then get yourself into fighting shape, where you're like, I'm ready to take a fight, and then train for the fight. I mean, that is a incredible process to go through in 10 months.
It was crazy. It really was. My body was, when you have a baby, your bones kind of like drift apart from each other, and you gain weight. And after I had my daughter, I found out that, during my pregnancy, I got gestational diabetes, and I gained like 50 pounds. I gained a lot. Like, I looked like the blueberry on Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. But yeah,
How long did it take you to bounce back? Were you in the gym again?
I probably stayed with my daughter for the first 3 months that I had her, and I just wanted to be a mom. I just wanted to be with her, and I wanted to nurture her and, you know, enjoy my time with her. And I think it was after 3 months where I was like, I want to
kick somebody in the head.
Kick some butt. Yeah. I want to relieve some stress. So, and Coach Wink and Coach Jackson and all my teammates were so supportive. And so I would come into the gym and I'd have, my diaper bag in one hand and my gym bag in the other and my car seat. And I'd come into the gym and I'd set it all down and I'd get wrapped up and she'd be in the car seat and she'd chill out. And
Wow.
if she would start to cry, Coach Wink or Coach Jackson would pick her up and then, they'd let me spar and, she needed to eat. I would go to the room and feed her and then come back and we made it work.
Wow.
Yeah. So I started training for that, and I really couldn't run to lose the weight because my joints and my bones were like all spread apart,
So when you say spread apart, like what actually does happen?
Well, I don't know like all the science behind it, but they just say that in order to like have the baby, like everything kind of separates from each other. Your bones like loosen and you're like more agile and loose and stuff like that. And so
you felt it. You felt a big difference in the way your body performed.
Yeah, for sure, I felt it. And so instead of running, I would swim for my cardio, and that helped me because it wasn't hard on my joints or anything like that. And it kind of helped me get back into shape. And you kind of just go with the flow and figure it out as you go. It was really hard. I was worried that because I got back into sparring and this and that I would go dry, like my milk would go dry. But I didn't. My body just figured, okay, this is what you do. And I still produced milk and everything. And it was really sensitive at first to get hit. And then I just got used to the pain, and then... Ow!
I don't even have one of those. I'm like, yikes. Yeah, I would imagine if your memories, they pump up.
Yeah. It's the body is just so amazing though. Like it'll adapt to what it needs to adapt to. And when I trained it, I got used to the pain, and then it didn't hurt anymore. And then, I would only produce as much as she needed. It was really cool. Yeah.
Now, when you fought 10 months, it's pretty incredible for your daughter to have only seen you fighting. That's got to be crazy too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she can't remember when you weren't fighting.
Yeah.
My mom kicks ass.
Yeah. She has a really cool upbringing, I think. Like she's surrounded by really cool people. Like she gets to meet the coolest people in the world, and they're normal to her because that she sees John and Holly, and that's Auntie Holly to her. And
right.
So like her expectations for what she can be in life, I think, are way higher. And I think because she's surrounded by people like that she and that's why I like to keep her around, because my dad used to always tell me that we learn through our actions, our parents' actions. You walk the walk, you don't talk the talk. And so I think the best teacher can be my actions, and for her to see it through her own eyes. I can tell her this, and this all day, but it's a different story when she comes to a fight with me and I'm the champion, the 105 champion, and I'm defending my belt, and I bust my eye open to the point where you can't see it anymore, and I lose my belt. And for her to see that, and for her to see that mommy's okay, and that failure is a part of life, and that I still love what I do, and I'm going to still go after, my set of dreams, because failure is a part of your journey,
That's an amazing lesson for a kid to learn. And to see that at a high level growing up with her mother on this giant stage in front of all these people in the crowd and television, that's amazing for her.
Yeah, and because people ask me all the time, like, aren't you afraid that she's going to see you get hurt and this and that? But why would you want to shield them from that stuff? I know it's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. You don't want your children to see you hurt and this and that, but I'd rather her see it and be prepared for it, because life isn't fair. Life isn't sunshine and rainbows all the time.
Yeah, it's challenging for her, and challenging things for kids. That's how they grow.